The most important deal struck was the signing of the binational commission between the two countries. This scales up the levels at which the two countries do their business. And it provides for annual consultations at heads of state level. So that was one of the agreements, the main agreements. But we also signed 4 other agreements covering various fields. One was to do with economics and trade relations. The other one was to do with water and sanitation. We have water bodies that we think we can deal with together. And of course, the very last agreement signed was also one which we hope will fit into the strategic pattern of the relationship we hope to promote.
We understand in these deals are embedded a quid pro quo of sorts, a political quid pro quo, that in exchange for some of the economic deals that there would be some political concessions. Is that the case, and what have they been?
Well, firstly, to recognize that that our political relations were excellent, that we needed to have regular consultations amongst ourselves to discuss issues of mutual interest, and that within that framework of very good political relations, we would have to come up with specific frameworks to govern different forms of our relationships.
I mean, it's as you said, and as we alluded to in the introduction, the trade deficit between Zimbabwe and South Africa is an issue. It's overwhelmingly in South Africa's favor, and these deals, the kinds of things you're talking about, will go some way in readdressing that, perhaps helping to recalibrate that. Why then, if it is overwhelmingly in Zimbabwe's interest for these deals to go ahead, would there be red flags raised by the likes of the MDC? We spoke to the MDC on this program last night, saying it's all very well to have a high-profile state visit like this, but none of these agreements will be honored at home. What do you say to that?
Well, that is the MDC and not the government speaking. These agreements will be honored. We have existing agreements with South Africa that have been honored. We have agreed that we will need to introduce, of course, elements of fair trade between our two countries. But we also recognize that Zimbabwe and South Africa are different countries in terms of size. There could never be real parity in terms of trade, but we can introduce a lot of equity in the trading system between the two countries.
The migration patterns between, with Zimbabweans coming into South Africa, and the president was frank about acknowledging South Africa in that regard and thanking South Africa for hosting Zimbabwean nationals on our soil in terms of work and so on. But it does speak to an unraveling economic situation at home. So, it goes without saying that whatever interventions your government has made and the president has made over the last while hasn't served the Zimbabwean economy nor its citizens very well.
Well, Zimbabwe has had quite some challenges in the last couple of years. We have been victims of sanctions. There were efforts to regime change our government. We think we have seen the back of all that, and the efforts that the government is undertaking to try and redress the situation should be adequate, we believe, in terms of laying the basis for addressing a number of the economic issues that have been dogging our country for some time.